I want to start you off with a simple exercise. It's very straightforward. It's dealing with the first step on the stairway, and yet at the same time beginning the second step on the stairway, and its purpose is to show us that we can actually bypass our excellently working automatism for perceiving all kinds of new impressions. If we can bypass this excellently working automatism, then we know that the fruit of impressions can start to sound in us do, re, mi, instead of sounding in us simply as do. So it's a beginning on this process. It's starting to take in the fruit of impressions coming from perception. This is the second step on the stairway. Now, the exercise is very simple, so I'll describe the exercise to you and then start to explain a little bit its significance. The exercise is for when you are walking. Most of my exercises concern walking. So we're walking along. And what I'd ask you to do is to place your hands out at each side of you, not at right angles to the body, but as if you are a fighter jet and they're the wings, 45 degrees, and your hands, the palms of your hands, are facing forward. So both arms are out at each side, 45 degrees, the palms of your hand are facing outwards, and you can lightly spread your fingers if you wish. Now, first thing I'll say, this immediately changes your perception. And this is something you can notice. If you can notice this, then this is the first step on the stairway, because this is starting to place data and experience in you at a more profound level, because you notice that your perception has changed by means of adopting this posture whilst you're walking. It's a piece of information that you can experience and you can reinforce again and again and again each time you do this exercise. Now, as we have noticed, our perception is changed by adopting this posture as we walk. And now what I would ask you to do is to take your left hand and simply place it back by your side. Your right hand is still out, spread out, palm facing forwards, fingers lightly spread. And as you're walking along, what you will notice then is that your perception changes again. And what I'm trying to point out here is that the source of your perception, the viewpoint, the centre of gravity from which you perceive the world changes. And usually, if you've got your right arm out in this posture as you're walking, you will perceive from your right hand side. And this is quite distinctive. So if you can note this, again, this is part of the first conscious shock, because you are placing this experience of perceiving from your right hand side instead of perceiving as you ordinarily would. You are placing this data and experience into yourself at a more profound level, and you can do this again and again each time you do the exercise. Then we put our left hand out again, back to our original posture. We're a fighter jet with our hands facing forwards, fingers lightly spread, arms at 45 degrees. And we return to perceive from the centre. Now, of course, the next thing to do is I ask you to place your right hand at your side. So only your left hand is out in this posture. And what you will notice is that your perception changes again. That is to say, the centre of gravity of your perception changes to the other side. Usually, if you have your left hand out, it will be in your left hand side, as distinct from the previous experience that you've had where you were perceiving from your right hand side. And then, of course, we put our right hand back out again, so we're back in our original posture and our perception returns to the center. So it's that experiment. You can do this as many times as you want, and you can do it whenever you want, probably best when no one's looking, so you don't look a bit odd with your arms out pretending to be a jet fighter coming in to land on an aircraft carrier. Now what this is showing, first of all, it is placing in you your own experience to show that the location from where you perceive can be changed and is changeable. And this is significant because here what I'm speaking about is bypassing our excellently working automatism for perceiving all kinds of new impressions. We have this automatism. It is a part of our ordinary conscious mind, the conscious mind of the ordinary man at the lower level. And it is this that is preventing us from receiving the food of impressions coming from perception as we should, as we normally should. It is this that is preventing us from having this augmented energetic state appropriate to a normal existence, a normal life. And so this exercise is showing that we can, in fact, quite easily, using our postures, using this exercise, we can change from where we perceive the world to our right hand side or to our left hand side, and this bypasses this excellently working automatism. It's a very simple exercise, there's nothing complex about it, but it's a beginning of much more complex exercises, because what we realize from this exercise is that we can actually perceive the world from any location in our psychology that we choose, and we learn techniques to do this. And this will of course bypass this excellently working automatism each time we do it, so that we perceive relatively normally, and it will also enable us to access any part of our psychology as we wish. So this is the beginning of quite a powerful technique. Now, it's so simple that most people won't even do it, or they will do it once and think that's it, it either works or it doesn't. But if you can do this and in a sense internalize the experience that you have when you perform this exercise, the fact that you can move the center of gravity of the source of your perception as you wish, that this can be moved, this is already a major step forward. Because this is the means by which we can bypass this excellently working automatism for perceiving all kinds of new impressions. This is our problem. We perceive automatically. Here we are using the postures, this exercise, to change that. We can either perceive from our right hand side, quite distinctive, or we can perceive from our left hand side, again quite different and quite distinctive. And both of these are quite different from the excellently working automatism that we have as ordinary men and women for perceiving all kinds of new impressions.